Good afternoon, friends. In this lecture or in this video, we will just I want to introduce a new concept in electromagnetic fields subject in this video. So the new concept in this video is electromagnetic induction. Electromagnetic induction. Okay, so this comes out to be a result of a time varying field, a time varying electromagnetic fields. Okay, so this is a subtopic, I think so. We can consider this electromagnetic induction as a subtopic of time varying electromagnetic fields. Okay, so in our discussions up to now, we considered electric fields as well as magnetic fields separately. In our discussion, we considered them as electric fields and magnetic fields separately. Means for a long time in the history, these two considered as a separate fields. But with the experiments made by the scientists called Oersted as well as Ampere, these are the two scientists who invented that moving charges creates a magnetic field. Moving charges are related to electric field. So a moving charges creates a magnetic field. So with the help of a small Oersted experiment, we can understand this fact. Okay, when a conductor is there which is carrying some current, if this conductor is carrying the current in this direction, when you keep a compass needle, it will deflect according to the direction of current. Okay, this is called as Oersted experiment, right? So for long time back in history, we considered the electric field as well as the magnetic field as a separate fields, but with the scientists experiments, with the scientists called Ampere as well as Oersted experiments, we can understand that the moving charges creates a magnetic field. Now we must get naturally a doubt may arise that is converse not possible. What is the meaning for that? See, if moving charges are creating magnetic field, why a changing magnetic field created electric field? Okay, a changing magnetic field creates electric field. So here the experiments done by the scientist called Faraday, Maxwell's. Okay, so these are the different scientists who provided their contribution on finding that whether a changing magnetic field creates an electric field or not. See, previously we understood that a moving charges means the charges are moving from one place to another place, so that there will be a changing electric field. Is it right? So moving charges always constitutes with changing electric field. Now a change in electric field is creating a magnetic field. Is it right or not? In the universe, it is also possible that from the experiments of Faraday and Maxwell, it is proved that a changing magnetic field creates an electric field. Let me write these two conclusions separately. A moving charge or a change in electric field. A moving charge creates a magnetic field. Creates a magnetic field. Why? See, a moving charge is nothing but it can be called as a current. The current flowing through a conductor creates some magnetic flux around it. From this we can understand. Now, what is the second conclusion? A changing magnetic field. A changing magnetic field creates an electric field. Creates an electric field, or we can call this as EMF. Creates an electric field, or we can call this as EMF. EMF means electromotive force. Electromotive force. Because of this electromotive force, there will be a current. So a changing magnetic field can create an electric field, or induced EMF or current. These are the two conclusions related to the magnetic field and electric field. Now what we can say from this, with these two conclusions which are proved by the scientists, we can say that the magnetic field and the electric field are interlinked with each other. Electric field as well as the magnetic field are interlinked with each other when they change with respect to time, or interlinked with each other when these fields changes with respect to time. When these fields changes with respect to time, they can be interlinked. So what is the meaning for that? When a changing magnetic field is there, it will definitely create an electric field. When a changing electric field is there, it will definitely create a magnetic field. So magnetic field as well as the electric fields are not two separate fields here. There is a combined field which is called as electromagnetic field. Okay, so why we are calling it as a combined field? Because without an electric field we cannot think about a magnetic field. Without a magnetic field we cannot think about an electric field. Okay, so now electromagnetic field now is a time changing field. What we can understand, electromagnetic field is a time changing field which is a real field which exists in nature practically. Now we'll see the concept of electromagnetic induction, or we will understand the concept of electromagnetic induction with the help of, see, I am writing here, electromagnetic induction. Electromagnetic induction, what can be electromagnetic induction can be understood with the following three experiments, conducted by the scientist called Faraday. Okay, so Faraday is treated as the father of electrical engineering, because with the invention of this electromagnetic induction, there is the inventions of different electrical machines like generator, motor, transformer, all these happened. Okay, so in order to understand the electromagnetic induction, we'll take the help of three experiments. Let me consider the first experiment. So I'm taking so this is the thing which we need to understand. We have a bar magnet. So this is a bar magnet, right? And this is a coil which is wound in some turns. I don't bother about the turns here. Now to this coil I connected a galvanometer. What is this? This is a galvanometer. Now what happens is that when a bar magnet is forced to move towards the coil. Okay, it is moving towards the coil, so that the flux with is linking. Because of this bar magnet, you will have some magnetic flux around this, and this magnetic flux tries to link with this coil when we move this bar magnet towards the coil. Okay, now this flux is a time changing flux unless and until if this bar magnet is in motion. Okay, so until the bar magnet is in motion, means when it is moving. Okay, until the bar magnet is in motion, the flux linking the coil is time changing flux, means is changing with respect to time changing, with respect to time. See, what does it indicate? When we are moving the bar magnet towards the coil, the flux which is linking the coil is changing with respect to time. In that case, the Faraday observed the deflection in the galvanometer. The deflection in the galvanometer indicates that there is a current through the coil, which is due to the induced EMF, right? See, when I am moving the bar magnet towards the coil which is connected to the galvanometer, the Faraday observed some deflection, and he concluded that this deflection is due to the current flowing through the coil. Why there is a flow of current? As though we are not giving any supply here, any battery here, the current is flowing. It is due to the induced EMF in the coil. And he observed the deflection in opposite direction. See, he observed first when the bar magnet is moving towards the coil, he observed the deflection in this direction. When the bar magnet is moving away from the coil, he observed the deflection in opposite direction. Okay, so what does it indicate? The magnetic flux has some direction. Based upon the direction of magnetic flux, you will have the current, right? So what does it indicate? The deflection moving in opposite direction indicates the reduction of current. Reduction of current makes the galvanometer to move in opposite direction. If it moves in this direction previously, now it moves in this direction, means the current reduces, means the EMF reduces. Is it right? In this way we can understand. Now when the bar magnet is stopped its movement, when the bar magnet is not moving, firstly he observed the deflection. See, this is the first one, this is the third one, and the second one is in opposite direction. So when the bar magnet is moving towards the current carrying coil, he observed the deflection in one side. Similarly, when the bar magnet is moving away from the current carrying coil, he observed the same deflection in opposite direction. And third one is when the bar magnet is not moving, so the galvanometer deflection is 0, means the galvanometer is showing null deflection. It indicates that the flux is not varying with respect to time, because the bar magnet position is fixed. When the bar magnet position is fixed, the flux linking with the coil is not changing with respect to time. As the flux linking with respect to the coil is not changing with respect to time, it is not creating any induced EMF. As there is no induced EMF, there will be no current and there will be no deflection. These are the three things which he observed from the first experiment. Okay, let me go to the next experiment, second experiment. So this is the figure showing the second experiment. Now if you observe here, now he is taking two coils. Here is one coil. So one coil is connected to the galvanometer and another coil is connected to the battery, right? And this coil position is fixed. it is not moving, and this coil is moving, right? In place of bar magnet, he just took another current carrying coil which is connected to the battery. When a current carrying coil is connected to the battery, what will happen? There is a flow of current through the current carrying coil. Whenever there is a flow of current through the current carrying coil, you will have a magnetic flux from the current carrying coil. When you move, okay, moving coil is C2 and C1 is fixed. So the position of C1 is fixed and C2 is movable. When I am moving C2, when he is moving C2 towards the C1, he again observes the same amount of deflection like this. And when C2 is moving away from the C1, he observed the deflection in opposite direction, which indicates that the reduction of current because of flux linking through the current carrying coil is reducing with respect to time. Means when the coil C2 is moving towards C1, the change in flux with respect to time, the flux change means the flux which is linking the current coil C1, the change in that flux is positive. Means step by step, when we are moving towards C1, the flux value is getting increased. The flux linking C1 is getting increased. Now here, when I am moving C2 away from C1, d phi by dt is negative, means the change in flux is negative. In both the cases, you will have a non-zero value of d phi by dt. Okay, so means the flux is a time changing flux here, whether it may be positive or negative. So you have observed some deflection. When the C2 position is fixed with respect to C1 position, C1 is also fixed. Now the change in flux with respect to time becomes 0, so that the galvanometer shows null deflection. This is called as null deflection. When there is no change in flux, there is no induced EMF. When there is no induced EMF, the current is 0. This is the second experiment with which we can understand the electromagnetic induction. Okay, we will see the definition of electromagnetic induction at the end of the third experiment. Now we'll see third experiment. So this is the third experiment. Here C1, as far as the positions are concerned, C1 is fixed by its position, means it is not moving from one place to another place, coil C1, and coil C2 is also fixed by its position. Now what he observed is, when the switch K is closed, suddenly he observed some deflection in one direction. Okay, like this, in this direction he observed the deflection in the galvanometer when the switch is closed, right? And when a switch remains closed, means I maintain this position for some time. When the switch remains closed for some time, he observed that the galvanometer again shows the 0 deflection, means it comes back to its original position. And again, when he closes the switch, again he observed some deflection like this. Okay, so now what is the meaning for that? See, when the switch K is closed, there will be a flow of current through the coil. Suddenly the current through the coil increases, so that previously, before the switch closes, means when the switch is in open position, the current through the coil C2 is 0, so the flux produced by the coil C2 is also 0, right? So there is no induced EMF in the coil C2, so the galvanometer shows null deflection. Now when the key is suddenly closed, okay, suddenly the current increased to maximum value. When the current is increased to maximum value, flux is increased to maximum value. Previously the flux is 0, now the flux is maximum value, so there will be a change in flux. What is the change in flux? Phi max minus phi 0 means phi naught is 0. So this value is 0. So there will be change in flux with a small period of time. As we are observing d phi by dt a non-zero value, the galvanometer is showing deflection. Okay. So here in both the two cases, two experiments which we have studied just before. Okay. So here as well as here, the bar magnet is in motion. The bar magnet is in motion. So an induced EMF is created. And here the coil C2 is also in motion. So an induced EMF is created in C1. Now in the third case, this is not in motion, but there will be change in current. Okay, there are two ways of creating d phi by dt. Means there are two ways of creating a change in magnetic field. One is by moving the conductor, means by having some relative speed between the conductor and the magnetic field, right? And by creating some time changing current. Okay, so by changing the current, you will have time changing flux, so that an EMF induced. Okay, so we can call the induced EMF in coil C1 as the statically induced EMF. What we can call? Statically induced EMF, right? Now here, why it is called as statically induced EMF? Because the conductor position is fixed, but the flux is time changing. Hence we can call it as a statically induced EMF. Whereas in the previous case, there is some relative displacement between the flux and the conductor. Conductor position, again here also it is 0, means conductor movement is 0, but there is some relative velocity between conductor and magnetic field, because the magnetic field is moving here towards the coil. So the magnetic field is changing with respect to, its velocity is changing. So the relative velocity between conductor and magnetic field is not 0. If you have some relative velocity between the conductor and magnetic field, then also there will be a chance of induced EMF. That type of induced EMF is called motional EMF, or it is also called as dynamically induced EMF. Okay, dynamically induced EMF, right? There are two types of EMFs. From this we can understand dynamically induced EMF and statically induced EMF, right? So this is about the three experiments. Now we will see what is the meaning of an electromagnetic induction. So electromagnetic induction is, okay, it is a method of electromagnetic induction is nothing but a method of inducing an EMF in a coil. It is a method of induced EMF in a conductor or a coil by changing the magnetic field. Means with the help of a time changing magnetic field, if we create some induced EMF in the conductor, then it is called as an electromagnetic induction. The name induction comes because there is no direct contact. Between coils C1 and C2. Because if you observe in the second experiment, here this is C1 and this is C2. We are not directly touching the C2 with C1. There is no direct contact or direct connection between C1 and C2. Though there is no direct connection, you have some induced EMF created in C1 due to the current flowing through C2, due to the change in current flowing through C2. So we can call this as electromagnetic induction. Okay, so here sorry, I just made a mistake. This is not direction. There is no connection, there is no direct connection between coils C1 and C2. Hence it is called as electromagnetic induction, right? This is about the Faraday's experiment in electromagnetic induction. Now we will see one by one EMFs, means how can we produce a transformer EMF or statically induced EMF. That we will see now. So first topic is transformer EMF, or statically induced EMF, okay. So from the Faraday's law, just now we have seen from the Faraday's law, we observe that the induced EMF in coil C1, E, I am writing this as E, the induced EMF E can be given by minus N times d phi by dt, because the induced EMF is directly proportional to rate of change of flux that is created. If there is no rate of change of flux, the induced EMF automatically becomes 0, and the flux, the rate of change of flux is linking with each and every turn of coil C2. So that is the reason why we need to multiply that with N. If more number of turns are there, you will have more induced EMF. It depends upon number of turns also. Okay, if less number of turns are there, the flux linking with the coil C1 will become lesser. So it depends upon the flux linkage. So that is the reason why induced EMF according to Faraday's law is given by E is equal to minus N d phi by dt, where N is equal to number of turns. Now here, what we need to understand in statically induced EMF is, here we will create a time changing magnetic field. Because of time changing magnetic field, we are not moving the conductor. We want to introduce an EMF in a stationary conducting loop. Okay, so for example, when we have a stationary conducting loop like this, I have a stationary conducting loop, right? This is the stationary conducting loop I have, and through this I am creating some magnetic field. You have a magnetic field in a region like this, and this magnetic field is a time changing magnetic field. The magnetic field which is in the region or in the space is a time changing magnetic field, and this is a stationary conducting loop. Now what happens? Stationary conducting loop. So how a statically induced EMF is created? When a time changing, so I am writing here, when a time changing magnetic field, when a time changing magnetic field links, not is, when a time changing magnetic field links with stationary coil, or stationary conducting loop, then we will have a statically induced EMF. Okay, we can observe this in a device called a machine called as a transformer. So that is the reason why it is also called as transformer EMF or statically induced EMF. Okay, so time changing magnetic field means the magnetic field must be a time changing value. So dB by dt is not equal to 0. Then we can call it as a time changing magnetic field. Now how can we find that EMF? When you have a time changing field here, when this is a time changing field, the total work done in bringing a charge in the loop from this point to the same point can be taken as line integral of E bar dot dl bar. Is it right? And it is called as EMF. Why we are considering here? See, when we are traveling along a closed path, along a closed conducting path, this is a conductor. Okay, so when we are traveling along a conductor which is placed in a time changing magnetic field, the line integral of that work can be taken as induced EMF. Okay, we have considered the same expression in electrostatics like this: line integral of E dot dl is equal to 0. Right? See, this is related to static electric field. Static electric field. Right? Static electric field. What is the meaning for that? When you have in the region a static electric field which is not changing with respect to time, a static electric field, electrostatic field or static electric field, when I want to move from one place to another place by following a closed path, this work comes out to be 0. Right? That is the reason why we got this integration as 0 in electrostatics. Whereas when we are moving around a closed path through a conducting portion in a time changing magnetic field, okay, in a time changing magnetic field, this comes out to be EMF. Whereas this is nothing but the potential difference. So the line integral of E dot dl, which is taken in a static electric field, gives us the potential difference between the 2 points, whereas it gives us the EMF between the 2 points. Now what we can understand is, in a closed conducting path, the line integral of E dot dl, electric field dot el, is given by induced EMF. This is the induced EMF which is created. Now we know that from Faraday's law, we know that the EMF is given by the time change in flux d phi by dt. Is it right or not? Now how can I find flux? Flux can be determined if flux is determined by the product of flux density and area. So I can write flux as B into A. Can I write like this? So the flux is the dot product of B bar vector and area vector. Now how can I write line integral, closed line integral of E bar dot dl bar? I can write this as minus, right, d by dt of I can write phi as integral of B bar dot ds bar, because when I am considering a closed path, I need to consider the total flux leaving the closed path. Okay, when I am taking this as the closed path, and out of this closed path, if I want to know the flux through this small portion, I can take that as d phi is equal to B bar dot ds bar, because ds bar is nothing but the area of this small portion, and B is the total flux leaving this entire surface, so that the flux leaving this closed path can be taken as B bar dot ds bar. Now phi can be written as the surface integral of this entire surface B bar dot ds bar. right? In that way I can write phi in place of phi. This is just a scalar multiplication. It holds good only when B and A are perpendicular, means the surface vector as well as B vector when they are perpendicular to each other, when they are B bar and A bar are parallel. B and A are perpendicular, whereas A bar is parallel. It is correct. So when I consider this like this, then only we will get phi as B into A. Okay. Now in place of phi I can write B bar dot ds bar. So I am just sending the differentiation inside the integration. Now as B is a time changing field, and we don't know whether it depends on x only or only one function. That is the reason why I am taking the help of partial differentiation. So you will get dou B bar by dou T dot ds bar. This is the induced EMF. In order to find the induced EMF, we can use this expression. It is also equal to the line integral of E dot dl. Right? Now from this statically induced, this is called as statically induced EMF. Statically induced EMF will be induced, as we have studied just now, when a time changing magnetic field links with the stationary coil. Then we can have statically induced EMF or transformer EMF produced. That transformer EMF is given by closed line integral of E dot dl. Okay, it can be taken as a potential difference in static electric fields, whereas it can be taken as the induced EMF when there is a time changing magnetic field in the region. This is the difference between static fields and time varying fields. As we were discussing the time varying fields, we can get the induced EMF now. So this induced EMF is called statically induced EMF. So it is dou B bar by dou T dot ds, this one. Now by applying Stokes theorem, see, from this we will get an important Maxwell equation for time varying fields. By applying Stokes theorem, we can obtain an important Maxwell equation for time varying fields. By applying Stokes theorem, the line integral is converted as a surface integral. So E dot dl can be written as del bar cross E dot ds bar, and it is given by minus of surface integral of dou B bar by dou T dot ds bar. When you compare these two equations, we will get a point form of Maxwell equation, which is del bar cross E bar can be given by minus dou B by dou T. Okay, we got this negative sign because of Lenz's law. Always the effect opposes the cause. This is the Lenz's law. So this is the Maxwell equation for time varying fields. Whereas for static fields, what is the equation you will get? You get this equation, del bar cross E bar is equal to 0, because we know that for static fields line integral of E dot dl is equal to 0. From this equation, by applying same Stokes theorem here, we can obtain this equation, right? So this is the Maxwell equation, one of the Maxwell equation which gives us the conservative nature of electrostatic field, and this is one of the Maxwell equation for time varying fields, which is due to the induced EMF, which is a statically induced EMF. Okay, so this is one of the very important Maxwell equations which asked many times in examination. So what we need to do in order to derive this? First we need to understand what is meant by a statically induced EMF or transformer EMF. From that we will get this expression, line integral of E dot dl is equal to EMF. So that from the Faraday's law, by applying Faraday's law, you can obtain this equation. Okay, so this is about the statically induced EMF. Next we will see another EMF, which is motional EMF. Motional EMF or dynamically induced EMF. Motional EMF or dynamically induced EMF, right? So in order to understand the motional or dynamically induced, first we need to I want to write the definition here, how we can get. See here, when a constant magnetic field, links with the moving conductor, then we can have this type of induced EMF. Okay, if you see the definition, it will be clear for you. When a time changing magnetic field links with the stationary coil is stationary but the magnetic field is time changing. In that case, the EMF produced is called statically induced EMF. Whereas if the magnetic field is constant, which is not time changing, links with the moving conductor, means the conductor has some velocity. In that case, the induced EMF is called dynamically induced EMF, right? Now how to find that dynamically induced EMF? In order to understand that, I am taking a small example. Let me draw the coordinate systems here for easy understanding. This is positive x, so this is positive y, and I am considering this as positive z, right? So I am considering a current carrying rails here. This is a current carrying rail like this, and this current carrying rail, at one end of this current carrying rail I am considering a movable rod. Okay, what is this? I am writing here. This is called as a movable conducting rod, right? So I placed a movable conducting rod at one side of a fixed conducting rail. This is called as fixed conducting rail, right? And this is placed in a region where we have some magnetic field towards the board or towards the paper or towards the page. So when I am showing X with into marks, it indicates the magnetic field is towards the board. When you have a magnetic field towards the board, now what is the direction of magnetic field? So away from the board is positive z direction, towards the board is negative z direction. So I can write B bar as minus B AZ bar. This is the magnitude and this is the direction. Minus AZ bar is the direction. In that field, I placed the two conducting rails and I fixed this movable conducting rod here, right? Now it is moving with some velocity v bar. In positive x direction. So now how can I write v bar here? I can write V bar as V times AX bar. Is it right or not? Now, how can I find the induced EMF? Let us consider first the position of this conducting rod, initial position of this conducting rod before the movement as X. This is the position of the conducting rod from this side, from one end, right? And consider this conducting rod length. This is the conducting rod length, active portion of the conducting rod. I am assuming this as L, the length of the conducting rod. Let me show here. This is the length of the conducting rod, right? And this is the position of the conducting rod with respect to one end, right? I am moving this in positive X direction. Now, how can I find the induced EMF? The induced EMF E is given by minus d phi by dt, because here the number of turns are only one. This is forming only one conducting loop, so I am taking n as 1. Hence EMF is given by minus d phi by dt. Now what is phi? Phi is, if you observe here, the area of this region as well as the field direction, both are parallel, means it is along z axis. Field is along z axis. If you want to consider the area of this portion, it is also along z axis. So I can take that phi as B into A. When B and A are B bar vector and A bar vector are parallel, actually we know that phi can be given by B bar dot A bar, or I can take this as magnitude of B, magnitude of A cos theta, where theta is the angle between B bar vector and A bar vector. A bar is a vector, surface area vector, and B bar is magnetic field vector. If the surface area vector, this is the area, so the surface area vector is towards the board, as well as B is also towards the board. So I can take this theta as 0 degrees between them. So I can get B as phi as B into A. So that I am writing phi as B into A. Now, what is induced EMF E? It is given by minus d by dt of, in place of phi I am writing B into A. Now, B is a constant value. Magnetic field is a constant magnetic field. It is not changing with respect to time. So I am taking B out of the differentiation. So I can write minus B d by dt of A. Is it right or not? Why I am changing, means I am taking the differentiation for area? Because initially the rod position is here. So the x value is a constant value. When the rod moves, automatically the area through which the flux is moving will also change. See, first initially you consider this area. Now when the conducting rod, this is the first position. When the conducting rod moves to this position, this is the new area. This is the old area and this is the new area. So there is a change in area with respect to time. That is the reason why I am taking the differentiation with respect to t. Right? Now what is A actually? So let me take the next page. Now E can be written as minus B d by dt of A. What is A? A is the area of cross section, minus B d by dt of, what is the area? It is the product of x and L. Is it right? So area is nothing but the product of length into breadth, so x into L. In this, L is constant. Why L is constant? L is nothing but here the length of the conducting rod, movable conducting rod. It is not changing with respect to time, right? So L is constant, whereas X remains changed, because when the conducting rod move from one position to another position in positive X direction, so the X will be changed. So you will have now minus B, I can take L out of the differentiation, you will get dx by dt. Now how can I write this? Minus BL. What is dx by dt? V. Now E is given by minus BLV. This is the potential. Now what is the direction of induced current? That we need to understand. Direction of the induced current can be obtained either by using Lenz's law, right? So you have a magnetic field, one by using Lenz's law, right? Lenz's law is nothing but according to Lenz's law, we can say that the induced current or induced EMF must supply current which opposes the flux. Okay, what is the meaning for that? The induced EMF must supply the current through the conducting rod, so that it must opposes the flux. If you observe the previous page, here the field is towards the board, means the field is in negative z direction. In order to create the field in positive z direction, you must have the current. What is the direction of current? It must be upwards. This is the direction of current. So through this rod you must have the current direction like this. This is the direction of current. Why we must get like this? Because according to Lenz's law, the induced EMF in this rod, see how the induced EMF will be created. See, like this, based upon the current direction, you can have this as the induced EMF. Upside positive terminal and downside negative terminal. So you will have the current in this direction, right? So you have the current in this direction. So in order to find the polarity of the induced EMF, which terminal is positive or which terminal is negative, or in order to find the direction of the induced current, we can take the help of two techniques. Okay, so I am writing here, please keep this in mind. First one is, see, in order to find the direction of current, or induced EMF, first thing we need to know is Lenz's law. This is one way of one alternative way, or one way to find the direction of current. So according to Lenz's law, the induced EMF must supply current which opposes the flux. So the flux is in negative z direction, so we need to create the flux in positive z direction. In order to create the flux in positive z direction, just by curling your fingers like this, you will have the flux in positive z direction. This is your fingers movement and this is your thumb movement. If you create the current like this, you will have the magnetic field like this. So the current through this conducting rod will be like this. And what is the direction of EMF? See, if the current is like this, you have the positive up and negative down. This is one way of finding the direction of current. Another way is by using the help of V bar cross B bar. This is by the technique, this is helpful if we find EMF by using the second case. See the second way of doing this. So this is the first method. So I am considering I am considering this as first method of finding the induced EMF, by which we got E as minus BLV. Now we will go through the second method. In the second method, see here, you have a conducting rod, is it right? And you have a magnetic field towards the board or towards the paper. So in this conducting rod, see, when we move this conducting rod, automatically the charges inside this conducting rod will move like this. Is it right or not? Now the charges is moving in a magnetic field. It comes under the force in magnetic field. Is it right? So when you have a positive charges, they are moving in this way in a magnetic field. We can call this type of force as force in a magnetic field. See, force in a magnetic field and a moving charge is given by Q V bar cross B bar. Is it right or not? Where V bar is nothing but the velocity of the charges. The velocity of the charges depends upon velocity of rod, moving rod. Velocity of rod is same as velocity of the charges, because inside the rod we have charges. As the rod moves, the charges will also move. So the velocity of the charges is same as velocity of a rod. Now as the charges are moving in a magnetic field B, they may experience a force. That force is given by Q V bar cross B bar. Now how can I find this force? See, I am just sending this Q to the denominator, so that you will have Fm bar by Q is equal to V bar cross B bar. Now what is F by Q? F by Q is electric field. Is it right or not? Electric field. But this electric field is nothing but motional electric field. What is this field called as? Motional electric field, because this electric field is created due to the moving charges or moving conducting rod. Hence it is called as motional electric field, right? Now it is given by, I am considering this as now EM bar, which is equal to Fm bar by Q, which is given by V bar cross B bar. Is it right or not? Now how can I find the induced EMF by using the second case? This is the second method of finding the induced EMF. Having known the direction of velocity and B. What is the direction of velocity? Previously we have seen the direction of velocity is positive x, the direction of the field is negative z. So B bar is minus B A Z bar, V bar is V A x bar. Hence we can get like this. Now the motional EMF is equal to, because of the motional electric field you will have motional EMF, right? So that motional EMF now can be given by closed line integral of, here we need to take EM bar instead of E bar. If you see the previous thing here, this EMF is E dot dl, but this EMF is called transformer EMF or statically induced EMF. Okay, statically induced EMF, right? So here in place of EM bar what I can take? So it is a line integral of V bar cross B bar dot dl bar, V bar cross B bar dot dl bar, right? Now what is V bar cross B bar? V bar is V times AX bar, B bar is minus B times AZ bar. So V bar cross B bar can be determined. First it is minus VB AX bar cross AZ bar. AZ bar cross AX bar is AY bar, whereas AX bar cross AZ bar is minus AY bar. So you will get plus AY bar. Now the value of V bar cross B bar is VB into AY bar, right? So here I am writing this as line integral of VB into AY bar dot, you need to take DL bar also in AY bar, so I can take this as dy AY bar. Now for this small element, if you consider for this small conducting rod, this limit is 0 and this limit is L. This limit is L and this limit is 0. Hence I can take the line integral as L to 0, AY bar dot AY bar is 1. You will get VB times dy. Let me take the next page. So now motional EMF is equal to closed line integral of EM bar dot DL bar is equal to line integral of L to 0 VB dy. Right? Now it is equal to VB is constant. I can take it out. Integration of dy is y within the limits of 0 to L. So you will get minus VBL. This is called as motional EMF minus VBL. If you observe, in the first method we got minus BLV. In the second method also we got BLV. So there are two methods which are helpful in order to find the induced EMF. First method is using this Faraday's law directly. E is equal to minus d phi by dt, and by taking the area, change in area, you can get the induced EMF as minus BLV, or you can use this method this is called as Lorentz force in magnetic fields, right? Lorentz force on a point charge in magnetic fields. By using this and by using this relation which we have taken for transformer EMF, we can get this as minus VBL. Now how to find the direction of current? Direction of current is based upon V bar cross B bar. So the simple technique is, in order to find the direction, you need to curl your fingers from V bar to B bar. See, what is the direction of current? It can be obtained from by curling. See, what is V bar vector? It is in positive x direction, right? And what is the field direction? It is towards the boat, right? Now this is B bar. When you curl your fingers like this, you will have the current direction like this. When you curl your fingers like this, you will have the current direction like this. Field direction like this. Means the current direction is like this, so that the field direction is like this. In order to find the current direction, you need to start curling your fingers starting from V and then move to V. V is in positive x direction, right? And B is towards the board or towards the paper, so that by curling this you will get the current direction showing the thumb. Now the thumb is showing upwards, so the current direction is upwards. It indicates that the current direction is same which we studied here. It is upwards, right? Simple, very simple logic is, in order to find the direction of current, very simple logic is, start from V bar. This is V bar, right? Curl your fingers towards B bar, because EMF is given by V bar cross B bar. Is it right or not? We have just determined. So V bar cross B bar. If you start at V, curl your fingers towards B, you will have the thumb showing upwards, So the thumb gives you the current direction or induced EMF direction, right? Whatever may be the direction of the field and direction of the velocity vector. If they are in x, y, z planes, you can directly find them by curling your fingers. If they are in a two-dimensional region or in the three-dimensional vector, then you need to compulsorily do the mathematical product, then you can get the direction of current. Okay, in this way you can obtain the motional EMF as well as transformer EMF. Now we'll see the conclusion of this video. If in the first case, if we have a time changing field, time changing field but a stationary loop or a stationary conductor, the EMF is given by line integral of E bar dot dl bar, and it is given by minus surface integral of dou b bar by dou t dot ds bar. If we have time changing magnetic field, not field, time changing magnetic field but a stationary loop, you can find the induced EMF like this. In the second way, if field is constant, but the loop is moving, but the conducting loop is moving or changing, then how can you write the induced EMF? Induced EMF now can be written as EMF is equal to line integral of, here the electric field is the motional electric field, so EM dot dl is equal to, now how can I write this? V bar cross B bar dot dl bar. Okay, so this is the line integral of V bar cross B bar dot dl bar. These are the two induced EMF. Now in the third case, if we have both, what is meant by both? Field is time changing, field is time changing, and conducting loop is also moving. Now the induced EMF is due to both, right? If the field is only time changing but the loop is stationary, we can have the EMF, and this EMF is called as transformer EMF or statically induced EMF. Okay, why I am repeating every time? In order to keep all the things in your mind. When you study about the transformer EMF in electromagnetic fields, you must get this expression in your mind. That's why I am repeating this many times. And this is called as motional EMF or statically induced EMF, dynamically induced EMF. When you have both, the EMF expression can be given by the EMF expression. So let me erase this. The EMF expression can be given by both the things, means minus, it is a minus surface integral of dou b bar by dou t dot ds bar plus line integral of v bar cross b bar dot dl bar. So because of these two you will get the induced EMF. Okay, this is the third situation. So this is about the statically induced EMF, dynamically induced EMF. Okay, and when you have both. Now let me go to the summary of all the things which we have studied up to now. First we have studied how the Faraday conducted experiments, and with the help of 3 experiments we have understood what is meant by an electromagnetic induction. What is meant by an electromagnetic induction, right? With the help of 3 experiments. Secondly, we have seen what is meant by transformer EMF. Thirdly, we have seen what is meant by motional EMF. And in motional EMF, how to obtain the direction of current or direction of induced EMF. Okay, so these are the things which we covered in this class. If you have any doubts, please post them in the comment section. If you really like this video, please share and subscribe among your friends. For more interesting videos, please subscribe to my channel and press the bell notification in order to get the things when I uploaded a video. Thank you very much.